Is the school system failing mental health? And what can we do to change that? Stick around, because we'll be answering all these questions and more in this video. Okay, another controversial topic, this one, but one that quite frankly needs to be addressed, and one that has been weighing on my mind for quite a while now. Here in the UK, suicide rates amongst teenagers and college students, and even in university students, are the highest they have ever been. If you go onto Google right now, or do it after the video, but if you go onto Google and you put in the words "school is making me," as you're typing that, you'll notice that Google tries to autofill. So these are things that people are actually searching for. And it's startling when you see that the top 10 are all related to school is making me depressed, school is making me sad, school is making me suicidal. It's all those sort of negative things. And this, as I said, is what people are searching for. And what's even more startling is that the top three are all variations on the same thing, which is the topic of suicide. And another startling thing with that, and I discovered this recently, and it's another worrying thought, but it all relates to what I'm saying, is that 1 in 4 children 4-year-old are suffering from depression and anxiety, and 1 in 5 4-year-olds are suicidal. There seems to be this thing now, and they're bringing it in with a lot of schools now, especially the younger schools. I noticed that what they're doing now is that they're giving kids like participation certificates and things like, here's a certificate for being the best behaved kid at sports day, or for having perfect posture and balance. Okay, I suppose it gives your child a little sense of accomplishment, like, yeah, I got a certificate, but they didn't really achieve anything, because they just turned up to school sports day and got a certificate. There is this thing where you get some people, they argue, oh well, you don't want your kid to get arrogant and think that, oh, I've got a trophy, so that means I'm better than you. I can understand that. And I mean, but that's really down to the parents. That's down to the parent to teach the child that, not the school, the parent. I think we still need that. I think we still need the competitiveness. It gives you that drive and determination. Okay, I didn't get a trophy this time. I'm going to work even harder, and I'm going to improve to make sure that's me on that podium next time. That's me lifting that trophy. So it gives you that drive and determination, and that builds character. So that's a good thing. Getting on to what else I was trying to say. They don't really do nothing to deal with mental health at schools. They just brush it under the carpet and pretend it didn't happen. And it's the same with bullying, which does tie in with the mental health. This whole saying that they used to teach us when we were kids, sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. No, no. Words have meaning. Words have power. And if your child is getting bullied constantly, whether it's physically or mentally, that does have an effect. And those effects last a lifetime. This needs to change. This whole attitude towards bullying is a point I've heard raised with a few people, and it's one that I thought, well, yeah, that's a good point. And that's the point that I think we should do something to educate people about mental health, to help young people understand the implications of these things that I mentioned, and the effects that they can have on mental health, and the implications of words. And if you're feeling this way, it's okay, it's not your fault, and you can get help. But of course, the help needs to be there in the first place. They put all these things in supposed to be to help, but most of the time they're no help whatsoever. Now I did touch on that on one of my previous videos. Extra measures and things, and oh, we can get like tutoring. Oh, this guy's got ADHD, so he struggles to concentrate on his exams. So we'll give him an extra 15 minutes on his exam, and that'll give him time to answer the exam. 15 minutes is not going to fix the problem. It takes, I know in my case, it takes me at least half an hour to concentrate on the, and then of course with the dyspraxia on top of things, I've already got problems understanding the questions in the first place. So giving me 15 minutes is just not going to make any difference. And things like that, especially with people with mental health conditions and disabilities, it's not fixing the problem. And I mean, you watching this, especially if you're an education person, you might think, oh, well, that's being reasonable, but it's not. It is not being reasonable. And it's why I strongly suggest, and this has been suggested by several people as well, including people I've seen on YouTube. In fact, I believe Haley's comment mentioned it on one of her videos, and she made the same point that it would be good if they actually sat down and spoke to some of these people who have these conditions and tried to get their perspective on it. And thus they could maybe come to more of an understanding on how better to accommodate. That's the word, accommodations. That's the word, accommodations. We got there. That's what they call it, accommodations. But 9 times out of 10, say it in English, it just doesn't help, or it adds other problems on it. And they get this feeling because, especially with some teachers, where, oh, you're lazy, you're tardy, you're not trying hard enough. And in some cases, I've even had teachers calling me stupid because I didn't understand what they were trying to tell me. And it has a large part to do with my symptoms, but they didn't really do it in a way that was for me to understand, if you know what I mean. I couldn't really understand a lot of it. And it used to cause frustration because then you would say to the teacher, well, I don't understand this, which creates more problems. They think, well, they start to think that you're not good enough. It can get in a person's head when they're hearing that, and of course it doesn't help that you're then getting bullied because you're falling behind the rest of the class. And that extra pressure gets to you, as I was saying, and then it's why we have the problem we have now, where there's so many students that are depressed or suicidal. And it's why I'm doing this video. But I want to close on this statement, and I want to drive this message home with you watching, and please do understand this, and please do get this message out there, because we need to change this. And we need to help people when they come to us and explain that, look, I can't deal with this, it's getting too much. Do it now. I'm David Gibson, and this is Living with Mental Health, and I'm going to see you in the next video.